Good evening. It is Wednesday, all day. Wednesday in the evening. It is a beautiful Wednesday. We had a sunny day here in Toronto. Did you have a sunny day where you were? And if you didn't, I hope you smiled and add some sun to your day. I'm going to get started on this interview just now. And right now, we're coming in with the sounds of Calabash. I love this song. It's called From Whence We Came. You got to get the album. And so as we get ready, this is a perfect time to grab your snacks, to, get yourself together, get comfy, get a nice drink, light a candle, get a warm robe or something, get a notepad. You never know when the wisdom keys are going to drop. Look, I turned off the music. I was just having so much fun. Now remember to share this with your friends, with your families, with your loved one. We're going to have a beautiful conversation this evening. So welcome everybody to the Victory Speak Show Inspired Conversation Series where iron sharpens iron. You know what? That's you and me sharpening each other. I'm your host, Nicole Waldron, your voice of victory and your mental fitness coach. I'm on a mission to inspire you to live a life of victory, a victorious lifestyle. You see, we all need to cultivate that victory mindset as we mind our minds as we go through this journey of life. You know, we have many conversations all the time. Some good, bad, funny, ugly, you name it. I have them, you have them. And with various people doing amazing work, doing amazing things in their lives. And not everybody has to be a superstar. Like, be in the movies or be some musician. I think everybody is a superstar. Everyone has a story to tell. And everyone can glean from your story. And so when I started this series, I believe that sharing is caring. And I wanted to share some of those wonderful conversations that I have had along the way. Sometimes with people I've known a long time, sometimes with people I've just met. So today, on this beautiful Wednesday in March, I'm launching Wellness Wednesdays. And it's happening as we're winding down International Women's Month. We as women need to focus on our wellness. Our wellness is a journey, physically and mentally. And though we have to make an intentional choice to do it ourselves, sometimes I believe we cannot always do it alone. In this new series, we will help you to move into victory in your health and wellness. And we're going to take that victory together. The exercise, mentally and physically. The self-care. What are we going to do? Now, we're going to ease into this conversation. So how do you turn pain into purpose and live in health and wellness and be of service to others? This is just part of the conversation we're about to have on this Wellness Wednesdays with my guests. Rochelle Bennett is the CEO and co-owner of Unforgivingly Pure, a registered nurse and wellness enthusiastic. And with her sister, Cola Bennett, CEO, they're both CEOs. I love it. Now, chief executive officers, chief execution officers, you call the CEOs, they are rocking it. Cola is a skincare formulator. She's an author and a poet. And together they run the company. These sisters are the founders of Unforgivingly Pure, a beauty and wellness company in Ontario, Canada. Unforgivingly Pure is a beauty wellness brand that provides clean beauty products to elevate your self-care experience, a brand where luxury meets culture. And it's for beautiful men and women who want to smell great, live great, love themselves unapologetically. So, my friends, get ready. Get your fingers on the dial of the hearts. Get your fingers on the dial of the emojis because I'm going to get ready to bring on these awesome ladies, Cola and Rochelle Bennett. Woo! Welcome, welcome. So beautiful. Woo! And the crowd thinks so too.
Yes.
Hey, we're gonna sit down. We're gonna relax. Listen, you guys look all zen. I love the flowers in the background. I think I'm gonna get some flowers, something like that, in my background. This is so nice, so hype. Love it.
Thank you.
How are you ladies doing this evening?
We're good.
Wow.
We're good.
We're good.
Had a busy day, but we're doing well.
You know, busy and productive. That's what I call it. You know, in this time, the fact that you're busy, that's a good thing.
Yes,
Yes,
Because
yes.
some people are saying they're bored. I don't have time to be bored. I want to be bored. You know
no.
what I'm saying? I want to be bored. So the two of you are first generation Canadians. What was it like, and what is it like to be first generation Canadians and Black women to be on top of that? Tell me, who wants to go first? No, I think Rochelle should go first.
Honestly, I feel like to be first generation Canadian means a lot in this day and age, especially in our family. Like the first to do a lot of things that our parents couldn't do. I think as we grow, like when you're younger, you don't really understand the things that they've gone through to so that we can have a better life. And I know they always tell us like, yeah, you know, I went through this and I did this so you can have, but you don't really understand exactly what they mean until you're older. And then you look back and you're like, oh wow, like yeah, you really did do a lot of things. Like you suffered, you went through poverty, you came to a whole new country, maybe you didn't know anybody, you know, you migrated and all these kind of things, just so that we can have the opportunity to do things like start our own business. So I feel like I'm very, very grateful to be considered first generation Canadian, or yeah, Canadian. How about you?
Yeah, no, I always say that I bleed black, green, and gold. So being first generation is cool, but I also love that I get to be rooted and grounded in culture.
Ooh, yeah.
And just knowing where we come from, knowing our family history, and being able to celebrate all things cultural. Because it's really important, especially growing up. And we grew up in a really white neighborhood. Culture was all we had to kind of hold on to. So I think that was a really cool thing, that because we had this experience as Jamaicans, then we got proud. Then we got to hold on to it. We got to really carry that with us.
I love that. I love the fact that you're embracing who you are, and you know you are a confident woman. Because when I look at how, like, I first met you at How She Hustles.
Yes.
And you were doing, you know, the hand massages and stuff. Oh, my hand felt so good that day. I think I took the last massage of the day with your products, and it was so beautiful. And so growing up in Canada, what does it feel like to be Canadian and have, you know, the experiences that you've had here?
Yeah, no, I think it's pretty cool. Like when I went to school, I was on a singing, like a singing choir thing, and I got to travel to Nova Scotia and go different places. So I think it allowed us different opportunities that even some of our cousins in the west of Toronto didn't get. So it's been interesting navigating what that looks like growing up in this industry, and just like different things that we speak French and all these other opportunities that we get to do. Because when people are like, oh, you speak French? I'm like, yes. They're like, so what's your background? I'm like, Jamaican. I'm like,
yes, girl. If I could parlez-vous français with you, I can't. I don't know. Oui, bonjour.
Wait, right? Je parle français. Wait. When we go to the store, we speak French. We're like, c'est quoi le numéro? C'est quoi le montant? Like, we always ask about, like, we speak money in French. Sometimes, I know people can hear it, but it's our little thing between us. So it's cool that, you know, we get other opportunities that we wouldn't necessarily have.
I was gonna say, and even growing up in Canada, you do get exposed to a lot of things and have experiences like going skating, you know, skiing, tobogganing, like experiencing snow. Like there are a lot of things that we get to experience here that others don't, and we kind of take it for granted sometimes.
It's like, oh, snow.
But what's your favorite season? What's your favorite season?
I like spring and fall. I like the cool, warm weather. Yeah.
And what about you, Cola?
I like warm countries. I like Jamaica.
So no winter babies, eh? No winter babies.
We're both born
in winter, but I don't like winter at all.
Yeah, we're both born in winter.
Yeah.
It's funny.
I'm more of a fall person, though. If I had to pick, I'd be more of a fall person.
I love the colors of fall.
Yeah.
I love the colors of fall, and then I love when spring starts coming in and you see life coming again.
Yes.
I love the beauty of snow, but I don't like the cold of winter.
Agreed.
Exactly.
Agreed.
And where we live is kind of like country-ish a little bit. There's still a lot of trees around here.
Yeah.
So when fall hits, you can drive down, and like on either side, there's just like orange and red, and it's really pretty.
Oh, okay, I gotta come visit. This fall, We'll be COVIDized, and I can come up now and experience the fall leaves and stuff.
Yes,
Yes,
beautiful.
it's really nice.
So the fun fact about you guys is you speak French. What else is a fun fact about you guys that your people don't know about, really know about?
I have a few. What's yours?
I like to bake. That's my fun fact. I think I'm a really great baker. I like to bake when I'm bored. And she always tries to get me, like, she'll show me things on Instagram and she'll be like, here, make this. And I'm like, what? But it's like a challenge. So actually, I really do like baking.
Yeah. And for me, I mean, I like to cook. That's not really a fun fact. That everyone kind of knows that. But what most people don't know is that I went to school for classical piano, and I've been playing since I was at the age of 3. And yeah, that's what my degree is in. I went to university for that. So yeah.
So we're gonna have an evening. We'll have some classical piano with some self-care. Okay, I'm envisioning a virtual space. Okay, we got to talk about that after. We're going to curate an event. Yeah, we're going to curate an event after this. Okay, so when you were raised, growing up in Canada, with the background that you have and with the opportunities that you have, because you're well versed, you're well rounded. What will you say? How you were raised? How did that help you today?
Ooh. I feel like it's given us discipline. That's one thing. Definitely the discipline to keep at it and understanding gratitude. I feel like our parents definitely made sure we were grateful for every little thing that we had growing up. So as we grow now, even in business, it's like every little thing, like we're very, very grateful. We don't take anything for granted. And we just keep pushing and we keep persevering, no?
Yeah, no, I agree. We were also raised in church. Our dad's a pastor. So that played a lot into our morals and how we think of things, and generosity and kindness. But we actually have two like really different lives. Like we grew up in the same house, but my past history is more trauma filled. And so that shaped me in a different way than it would shape somebody who hasn't been through all the trauma that I've been through.
Right. I love you guys. And welcome everybody who's come onto the show on live and on the replay. Those of you are live, send in your comments, send in your questions. Wendy, blessings everyone. Love the conversations. Ladies, so proud of you. Listen, when we get deeper into this conversation, you're going to be even super more proud of these women here because they are rocking it. These women that I have met at How She Hustles, and I follow them and I use their products, but I'm getting ahead of myself because I'm so excited to interview you guys. I wouldn't even say interview, have this conversation. Everybody else join in when you're ready. What brings you joy? What brings you joy, Rochelle?
Oh, music and dancing. Yeah.
What kind of dancing? What kind of music?
Any kind of, I love Afro beats, dancehall, reggae. Old school reggae is like my jam. Like growing up, and like it's just like it brings me back to like Saturday morning cleaning with my auntie. But I love some old school reggae. I love like something that has a beat, some soca, something that's really upbeat and lively.
Yes.
I love that type of like feel good music, and just dancing and just doing my own little thing. That gives me like pure joy, pure joy.
They show are rocking right now, Wendy. They show us. I was playing some Afro beats before I came in to get in the mood. So, Kola, what brings you joy?
Music brings me joy. But most importantly, besides my son bringing me joy, it's my lipsticks. That is like my newfound joy and love. Doing different designs. I haven't done them in a while, but like every time I get to do one, it really just makes me happy. The different designs I'm able to create, and just like how I'm able to just like be so bold with it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Listen, I need some lessons, and I want to try it. I want to do a photo shoot with some of your designs because you rock it, and that blue is one of my favorite colors. One of my favorite colors.
Yeah.
In this month, it's Women's International Month. It's Women's History Month. We had International Women's Day. But the theme has been choose to challenge. What would you choose to challenge for yourselves in this month, in this season moving ahead? Kola, I'll go to you first because I was picking on Rochelle earlier.
Choose to challenge. What would I challenge myself with?
Yeah. What would you choose to challenge yourself with?
100% time management. I need to manage my time better. because I have a lot of projects on the go. I have a lot of things that God needs me to accomplish,
Mm.
purpose driven, and I feel like I'm not getting it all done because I'm not managing my time enough. So time management is definitely my challenge.
I got a friend for you. Don't worry. I got a friend for you. She's good in that. Okay, Rochelle, what's your thing? What are you choosing to challenge?
My thing I want to challenge is consistency. That's definitely a thing that I'm working on and I've been struggling with, is in terms of like just being consistent in what I say I'm going to do. So either whether that's exercise or scheduling, like, self-care days and making sure I'm doing it consistently. That's definitely one thing that I need to keep going on and get better at, is consistency.
I'm right here with you. This is a fire. And I find if someone's having that accountability person, the setting the alarms have been helping me a bit, but I recognize that sometimes I turn off the alarm. So
Yes,
that's
yes.
to be honest. So before we get into the next segment, where we're going to find out a little more about the company and what you do and stuff, I want to play this video, and I'm going to play it differently because I got it from YouTube. So we're going to try something new for the first time here, sharing the screen. So it's gonna, let's see. Hopefully, everybody in La La Land, Facebook land, YouTube land will get what we're seeing. So if you
Ooh.
guys are not seeing the video, let me know.
August 23rd, 2014. That's the day my heart stopped beating and my mind went into a state of shock. I don't remember my son's funeral. Couldn't even tell you who came. I felt like I was being held down underwater. The anxiety turned into panic attacks, but because I'm black, I felt alone. I clutched my chest. They call it stress, but stress had never felt like this before. Why is it that when we experience loss, we forget about self-care? I had to relearn basic hygiene with an understanding that what I put on my body was just as important as what I put in. Growing up, we used whatever was cheap without thought to its impact mentally or physically. That's when my sister and I founded Unforgivingly Pure, a natural skincare company. We create products remixed with culture and luxury that focus on enhancing the overall experience. We stay true to ourselves by being bold in scent, natural in ingredients, and authentic in quality. Within a year, the depression and anxiety was gone, and we realized that self-care, it was about more than just products. It was about wellness.
You guys are rocking. You rock. You rock. Well, so for some who've never heard your story or don't know about you, wonderful ladies, and what has happened, and you share so beautifully there, Kola. Tell us about this journey from grief and the pain. How did you deal with the pain? How did you deal with the grief and the loss of your son? Tell us, in fact, before we even go there, tell us about your son. Oh my gosh, tell us about your son.
KK is my joy. He's absolutely my joy. I got pregnant at 16, and so I had him really young, and he literally saved my life when he came. And so we did everything together. He was diagnosed with what do you call it, muscular dystrophy, like a year after he was born, and we just decided that no matter what the diagnosis was, we were going to allow him to live his life with freedom and with everything that he has.
Yes. Oh my God. Okay.
This is actually me in high school. They said for my graduation picture I could bring a prop. So I brought my child.
I love it. I love it.
But yeah, KK he's joy. He dances. He's everything we love to do. He embodies everything. His favorite color is blue, which is why you will always see us wearing blue, always representing him in everything that we do. But he was one of those kids that just never complained, sat still and did everything. And so in February 2014, he was diagnosed with congestive heart failure because of the muscular dystrophy. Right. And essentially, he lived for 6 months past his diagnosis. Wow. Originally, they had told me, and it was like my birthday weekend too, they had told me that he was going to die, and just to gather our family and say goodbye. And he lived past that. And so it brought me on this journey of understanding who God was. Even though I had been raised in the church, my relationship with God was very up and down.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so when my son got sick, I told God, I'm like, if you save his life, I will dedicate my life to you. Just save him, and I'm yours.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I understand how crazy that might sound, but at the time it was my desperation.
Yeah.
And on the third day of us being in the hospital, I had some people from my university come pray for us, and I just like I felt this really deep peace. And from that moment on, I knew that no matter what happened, we would be okay. So we went to like Disney World as a family. Make a Wish sent us. We went to like the race car. We did so
Love
many
that.
different things and built so many memories. And in the 6 months, and every single time he was sick, every single time we went to the hospital, and they said prepare for him to die, he always bounced back. And
Yeah.
so I got to the point where I told him, I'm like, you need to stop saying
Yeah.
that he's gonna die. Like I know who my God is, and my God is gonna save him. And essentially, what happened in August is August 16, 2014, he passed away in my arms. And so, yeah.
Oh my God, he's so handsome.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, the day memory lane. The day he passed, it was just my sister and I in the room. And he just woke up, said he had to go to the bathroom, and then within minutes he fell back in my arm, and that was it. And I set all that up because the journey of grief is different depending on the circumstances.
Yes.
And sometimes we think that like, oh, this happened, that happened, but like to have someone pass away in your arms is a deeper type of connection that you have than with other things. And no one way is greater than the other. Everyone who passes away, it's a challenge. But it definitely played into the grief because I had nightmares for a while. I'm just seeing him and watching just seeing him laying there. And I had to figure out how to cope with that. I had to figure out how to get the images out. So I prayed a lot. Although God did not save him the way I thought, and I actually prayed for resurrection, but although God did not save him the way I thought, I had already dedicated my life to God. We had already started this beautiful relationship, and in that moment, I needed God more than anything.
Yes.
Before, my identity was wrapped up in my son. I was known as KK's mom. That's what it was. I was a young mother, and I was KK's mom. But after my son passed, I lost my identity. Like, who was I if I'm not KK's mom?
Yeah.
And so I had to find my identity through God and to rebuild it. So not just rebuilding my life in different ways, but I had to rebuild my identity as well. And so that's where like the beauty and healing actually starts, and using music. That's why music is so important to me. And I know it's also really important to my sister because music speaks to you even when you can't speak, even when you can't communicate. The beats and the rhythms, like it just plays differently in your mind and your subconscious. And it's been a beautiful process to go along the way.
I love how you describe it. And so Rochelle, what was like that for you watching your sister go through like one of the most painful experiences of her life?
It was difficult for me, it was difficult to process go through my own process as well as understand how I could also be a support.
Yeah.
I didn't really know how to do both. So I think I delayed my process so that I could be there for her, in that sense. And to, I don't know, I feel like I just didn't really go through my process in terms of dealing with it, and it was harder because she wasn't necessarily living with us. Like she was living at a friend's house at the time, so she wasn't present. So it was like I couldn't really be there for her as I could or wanted to. So a lot of it was very kind of like separate, but then I don't know, it was a weird time. I feel like we each had to go through our own journey. But yeah, definitely had to figure out how to go through my own process and then also be strong for her. And then, our parents are going through it as well. So everyone's like trying to figure out how we can support each other, but also go through our own individual process. And then also deal with life that just keeps happening at the time.
Right.
I remember, I think I got I actually failed my nursing exam during all of this, and then I had to rewrite it. So I was like trying to study for my nursing exam as well as go through this process. So it was like, I then made my exam, like I dedicated me passing the exam to him. in terms of like I want to do this to make him proud type thing. So I think I then just buried myself into like studying, and then I got my job and stuff like that. So I don't think I necessarily dealt with it in the best way, but now looking back, I'm like, I guess in the time, that's how, we never knew how to, we never experienced anything like this before, right? So it was like
Right.
understanding and how to go through. But I think then again, once we came back around and finally got together, we realized that we definitely need to channel something positive in his honor to keep his spirit alive. That's what definitely how our company grew and began, is because he was always so joyful and he was always smiling, and no matter what he was going through, everything was going to be okay. So it was like we wanted to definitely keep that spirit alive and understand that we're going to be okay, and we want to share that with other people so that they felt as well that no matter what they're going through, they're going to be okay, and it's going to all work out in the end. So yeah.
You
Did we answer the question?
you totally answered the question. I just love it. And so, Kola, you're going through this pain, you're going through the transition of your son. Now, how was that? How did you journey through that pain? What did you go through mentally and physically with yourself in this journey?
Well, there was a lot going on. So when my son passed, when my son was here, I was taking care of him, which means I was on what do you call it, welfare?
Yes.
There's a nicer name for it, but
social assistance. Yeah.
I was on social assistance because of I needed to make sure I was always available for him.
Yes.
So like for all his therapies and appointments. So essentially what happened is after he passed, there was a glitch in the system. And it switched it from family size to single size. And so I didn't have enough money to pay for my rent at the apartment that I lived downtown. So I had about 2 weeks to pack up my whole life, donate some stuff, give some stuff away, and really just figure out what was next. And so that's how I ended up at a friend's house, because I just like really quickly couldn't even like process it. I had just like, okay, and then go. And the other thing is, when my son passed, a lot of people had questions like, okay, so what now? What's happening? So are you gonna go to work now? Like what? Like they just want to know.
You don't even know. They want to know what you don't even know.
But a lot of them, they wanted to know to make them feel better about, oh, she'll be fine. She's gonna go. So a lot of them are asking me if I'm gonna go to work and all this stuff, and I really just wanted to stay home, write my book, go to the gym, and shut out, because like since high school, I had my son in high school, and then so I was constantly going, and then right after high school I went straight into university. I still had my son. Like, I never stopped, and now I got a moment to just like pause and break, and everyone's like, so what's next? So essentially I ended up taking a job 2 months after my son passed, and that was my first full-time job that I worked with, like benefits and the whole thing, and not only was it my first time job, it was my also first time full-time job in French.
Wow.
And so essentially what happened is I worked every second I could so I could avoid the pain and everything going on. And I worked overtime, holidays, everything. And within 9 months, I burnt out.
Of course. Yeah. Because you were just going and going and going. So how did you manage going through that when you crashed?
So at first it started because the crash wasn't just like emotional, it was physical. So I was getting gallstones. I was crying all the time. I would go to work and I just be in the bathroom. And that's kind of why when I started doing all the lipstick art, and people would be like, oh my gosh, you're so creative. Like, why are you here? Why are you not somewhere? I'm like, y'all don't even really know.
If you only know. Yeah.
I'm creative. I don't do this. But yeah, so eventually I had to go to my doctor like many times just to get him to take me seriously. At first, I'm like, I think I need a break. So I didn't understand what was happening. I understand now that was burnout, but at the time, I didn't know what it was called.
Yeah, because you were in trauma. You were going through PTSD. You were going through total trauma, depression, of course.
Right. And what a lot of people don't know is my son passing definitely was a huge break in my life. But I had experienced trauma from when I was 14 years old.
Okay.
And I've been going through consistent trauma of 14, 16, 18, 21. And my son passed at 25. So this was like the tipping, like, when someone just tips the ice. Like,
the icing on the cake, as they say. Yeah. Tipped you over.
devastated me because it
Yeah,
was one
yeah.
more thing on top of everything I'd already gone through. And so while people thought it was just one thing I was sorting through, I'm like, no, no, no. I have years of trauma and history that I'm sorting through. So I had to go to my doctor several times. I had to when I was like, I need a break. I don't know what to call it. I don't know how to word it. He's like, oh, a break is called a vacation. I'm like, no, no, it's more than that. There's something
No,
else
he did
here.
not. He said a break his qualification.
Yeah.
Can I
Yeah,
fire him for
100%.
you right now? Is he still in practice? I just want to fire him right now.
Oh, 100%.
Okay, I'm sorry.
100%.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I just want to fire
100%.
him now. Right
And
now.
like, you know what I mean? And so like I kept talking to myself. I'm like, but I can't. I feel like I can't.
Yeah.
And I didn't know how to verbalize it. Anyways, I finally went to the doctor, and what I did is I started crying on cue. So I was like, it's like if I don't cry, he doesn't think
We believe
it,
you because you
it
seem like the strong woman. Yeah,
that's
the
what he said.
strong
He
black
said to
woman
me,
thing.
he's like, it's not like you're suicidal. You're not in Cam H, so be grateful. And the thing is, he didn't know
Stop
because I
it
was
right
verbal.
now. Stop. No, no, he did not.
Yeah,
I'm like your mama, and I know
absolutely.
this was what I want to go talk to him right now. Okay, we'll talk about him after because I just want to yeah. Okay, go ahead.
And so I finally went into his office, tears in my eyes. I'm like, I cannot do this. And he's like, okay, I see tears in her eyes. What is this starting from? I'm like, ugh. So he sent me
You
to
just
psychiatrist.
lost your child. What do you mean? What is this starting from? This is trauma.
Yes.
Even without knowing everything else, I am so dismayed to hear that you had to go through that. I really am. And my heart goes out to you right now in this moment and to see your resilience and the
Mhm.
ability that you knew instinctively somewhere along the way that you had to fight for yourself, even if you had to put on those tears. And so, hurrah for you. So, anybody listening right now, and you are feeling down or depressed, whatever the reason, you've lost a child, your child has transitioned or a loved one, and you are feeling the pain, the mental pain, the emotional pain, the physical, 'cause it causes trauma to your body, as Kola is describing, and your doctor is not hearing them, you get an advocate and go with someone else. And if not, you call me. I'm just saying, because we're coming. We're coming. No one should go through this and have to go through what you went through. Anyways, you
Absolutely.
had to cry on cue at the doctor's office. I
We
can't
did.
believe that.
We really have to advocate for ourselves when we go in there, especially when it's mental health. They always have this notion that Black women are strong, and so because we're strong, they don't take us seriously. And so, and the other part for me was, I'm like, I don't want to go on medication, and because I didn't want to go on medication, they just wrote me off. They're like, okay, well, you don't want to do meds. That's the only option for you. So if you're not going to do meds, go back to work. And I'm like, and so every time went to work, I'm like, I can't. And so, long story short, I went through the short term disability. I was able to get it. He finally was just like he started to listen to me. After multiple times, I'm like, I'm not feeling better. I can't go back. I applied for long term disability and I got swiftly denied. I remember the agent yelled at me on the phone.
She was so rude. I could
Even
hear
my
her through the
sister,
phone.
yeah.
I wanted to jump to the phone and just like shake her. She was so rude, and like it was horrible because then like I didn't know exactly what was happening, but all I remember was my sister hanging up and being like so upset, like she broke down into. And I was like,
Wow.
"What is going on? Like what's happening?" And when she told me like what the lady was saying, I said, "What's her number? Where's she? Let me go find her because." It was so rude, but anywho.
No, it was bad because she was basically like, well, you're able to get up. As long as you're able to get out of the bed, you're fine. Like, what's your problem, basically? And so I had no help. I really had no help. So I chose to stay off work without pay. So I'm like, I'm not going back. And through that, my sister and we started, I used to do skincare like previously. And we kind of just resurrected the idea of skincare products and what it does for you. Because at the time, like I don't want to say it's paranoid, but I had so much anxiety. I
Yeah.
didn't want to leave the house.
Yeah.
Yes, I could get up, and yes, I could make food, and yes, I could write my
You were
book.
functioning, non-functioning. It's like when you're functioning, non-functioning, you're really not functioning.
They
Yeah.
called me a high functioning depressed person. That's what the title they gave
Yeah.
me. And because I was high functioning, there really was no help for me. It's either you take medication or you're on your own, basically. And so we started getting into products because like what we realized is, okay, I have to get up, I have to bathe my skin, I gotta put in deodorant, like the very basics. Like what could I do to help myself a little bit every day on days when I don't feel like bathing. Like, what could I do to like entice that? And that's kind of
Right.
where the idea came from when we started remixing and putting the company together.
And I feel like that also like that was when my mentality in terms of nursing changed in the healthcare system, because in school again is so like medicine focused, and
Yes.
I'm very anti medicine in that regard. I'm always like, we could prevent a lot of things. We can
Mhm.
do holistic like treatments. We can take care of ourselves, exercise. There's other ways to treat a condition, but for the fact that they were like almost like trying to shove pills down my sister's throat, and she's like, no, there's other things out there, I want to try those other things first. And they were just like, okay, well then you're good, you're fine. If you don't want to take meds and you want to try other things, then it's like you're functioning. And she's just like, no. So for me, I was like, that's such a turn off in terms of, I'm like, I cannot necessarily work in an environment that it like glorifies meds when we haven't even tried the other things or any preventative type of treatments first. So that also was like where I was like, no, let's start. If we can do like skincare or something, natural products, we can, help people. And the product itself is very great in making sure that it's high quality, but it's the act of taking care of self that really helps to like get over the mental things, and it's all about the well-being of the body and stuff like that. So
Yeah,
I think that's where it all kind of like
it's definitely the act of taking care of yourself, because that's a huge step and people don't understand that. That is a huge step. I found out later on that, like, I was diagnosed with depression. And as we started making things, at the end of the video, it says within a year,
Yeah.
had lifted. And so I found it starting to lift as we were focusing on something else and putting our positivity in it, and just like rewiring what we were doing. But then I was also later on diagnosed with PTSD. And so
Of course.
that was interesting to get, because I've never experienced that. I didn't know what it was, but like it almost felt like my mind was sliced and it was in a fog. And
Mm.
it didn't feel safe to drive. It didn't feel safe to be at home. It didn't feel safe anywhere within my own body, and that was really scary.
I love how you describe it, because so many people don't understand what it is when you're feeling depressed and when you're going through anxiety, and it literally affects your mind, body, soul, and spirit. It affects every part of you. And and I know the doctors sometimes want to push the medication on the throat, and we know there's things like CBT, and we know that neuroplasticity, our brains, we're learning now that our brains are plastic, and it's moldable and it's changeable, and the nerve endings, and and the science of the mind and the brain coming together. And so somewhere instinctively, you know I would say that was kicking in for you, that you knew as you started to change your behavior and change how you were going, your brain was starting to change and how it operates. But that takes intention and that takes time, because, if you didn't do that, it could have even gotten worse in your illness at that time. And so we have to really be advocates at this time. And I'm so proud of the two of you. Like, Rochelle, you're taking your nursing background and saying, nope. Cola, you're there and you're like, this is not right for my body, and figuring out I want to do something natural. So as we go on this journey, and I just want to welcome everybody that's live and on the replay. I'm talking with Cola and Rochelle Bennett, the chief executive officers, the chief execution officers of Unforgivingly Pure. Their company is producing a luxury brand that has natural products in it. If you haven't tried it yet, let me tell you, you should try. I personally use their deodorant, and I'm branching into using their other products. So, and even my niece did deodorant, and she's a little one, and it worked for her. So I was always scared trying to go find a natural deodorant. Like, can it have, and yours works well. So as we go on, and I digress because I'm getting ahead of myself, because I just love your resilience, what you do, and it's not just about you being strong Black woman, is that your wisdom and your instinct have kicked in. And so you're going through this process, you're going through the mental health system, and then you're figuring out, what I need to start making products. Going from like, I need to bathe and I don't remember to bathe, and I need to put on deodorant, and I know that feeling when you go through depression, to actually making the products. What clicked that made you think, okay, let me try making these products?
Well, I mean, when my son was here, we were always searching for things for his skin and what to use. And I remember, what was it? The Christmas after he passed, my sister and I were headed to Montreal, and Canadian Tire was having a sale for like mixers and all this stuff on Boxing Day. And I called my dad and I'm saying, "Hey, go to Canadian Tire."
We were on the train, by the way. She's like, "There's a sale today. I have to get this stuff."
I was like, "You need to go for us and go pick up all these things because I'm going to need it one day in the future." And then I think we just put it down. I forgot about it for like 6 months. And then when I was going through all the stuff with work, and now I was actually off work, there was just like this, "Hey, remember that equipment that you purchased?" Like, I was like, "Oh yeah, I have everything." And so from there, it was just restarting it because I had done it previously. And so it's just like finding a lost love and trying it again. And that kind of like the click for me was that I got to dig deep in research. I love the research part of it. I love learning about the ingredients. I've always been crafty. I've always been artsy, pottery, sketching, like anything I can do with my hands has been my thing. And so when we got an opportunity to research and to, hey, I can make that. I can do this.
I was gonna say, I feel like it definitely like, it was more like the challenge that was just like, it was so intriguing. You know, it was something new and it was like a new puzzle that we could try and figure out. And we're like, okay, what's on the market? How can we make it different? How can we make it better? Like what's not out there, you know? So we tried to come with some new stuff. People are like, what is that? What's that ingredient? But it was always like that little, like
the challenge.
The challenge of trying to create something new and like, and better. And we're like, yo, why don't people use this stuff? Why don't people know like about these ingredients? Like, why is nobody knowing about these stuff? But yeah, I think that's definitely, and then again, like it was something positive, like seeing people's reactions to our products. And we're definitely like, we're not the people that have like a whole business plan and go through all the business stuff and make sure that all the funds are there before we start an idea. We started making product and, you know, giving it to certain people and seeing their reaction. We definitely dove right in, and it was like the positive reaction that we were getting back. We're like, okay, people are liking it. We're starting to get, you know, good feedback. People are liking it. So it was very like I think it was like the spreading of positivity was a little contagious.
Yeah, it was. And I think that also because it was closer to the end when I was coming off of short-term disability, I also knew that the funds were going to be non-existent. So we started with like $600, really, truly. Just ordering some stuff in and trying it. And so, we always love challenges and adventures, and that's always been us. And I think that's what kind of like snapped us into just going a different direction. And it's been great ever since.
I was gonna say, outside of the fact that we just don't like working for people, I think after she went out of her job, like she went out of her job, and I think my job was like on a contract at the time, and I was like,
I used to. Oh, sorry. Go. No, I was gonna say I used to always say 4 white walls will never be me. I don't do 4 white walls. And then at my job, the walls weren't white, but there were still walls, and so I just knew that going back to work wasn't for me, because on the days that I needed to cry without a million eyes on me, like, are you okay? Like I couldn't take all that. And for your job, it was changing.
Yeah, my job was changing, and again, my perspective of the healthcare system changed. So I was kind of just like, I'm like, it's not for me. I'm gonna do it because I love caring for people. I think that's one of my gifts, is being very caring. But it was just in a way I had to figure out how I wanted to help people. I didn't want to help them like necessarily as they're in it. I wanted to be more we call it preventative, like before it gets that far. I wanted to provide solutions for people to, you know, do before it gets to and for them to maintain illness, right?
And the fact that you're willing to, like, I mean, being a nurse and you recognize this, and you're like, okay, and you know, I'm studying nursing. This, you're doing this in your creative side, Cola. Rochelle, you're doing this in the medical side, and then you're taking all the knowledge that you have, and you've you know, sisters coming together, you know, making something out of nothing. And it really is not out of nothing, because it came out of pain. It came out of having to change something, and creativity is quite interesting. I like to say to people right now, in my reflection time, I've recognized that in this pain, many people are going through pain in the pandemic that they've never gone through before. Many people are going through recognizing and appreciating, when we say anxiety and depression, who never got it before. And pain allows us to if we choose to find perspective and
Yes.
then walk into purpose. And that's when we can pivot, because everybody's talking about pivoting, but they missed the last pieces before. So thank you everyone who's live and on the replay. And I love the creative energy. I love their resilience. Yes, I love it. And I love them too because of what they're doing. Tell us about the products that you are now producing on Unforgivingly Pure. What kind of
Ooh.
products can we get there? What kind of products can people look forward to getting from you guys?
Sorry.
So over the last 4 years, we've definitely started with products, and then we've pivoted and realized what the core products are that we love so much and that we want to like really everyone to get into. So our best seller, I will start, is the deodorant, our natural deodorant.
Yes.
Our natural deodorant is not like any other thing you will get on the market. We have tried them, so we know what we're talking about. It is just like, I don't even know. It's so good. It glides really nicely. You just get a really overall good experience, and they smell really good. They come in 5 different smells. Where's the camera? 5 different scents. And they actually smell like what they are supposed to. Because you know when you go to the health food store and they'll be like, it smells like, peaches and this and that. And then you smell it, you're like, what is it? It smells like dirt mixed with like something else.
Yeah.
That. We're not that at all. We're definitely an elevated experience. It is great. It has ginger, wasabi, and garlic in there. So it's got great antimicrobial properties. It's just wonderful. And that's
the big word. Hear the big word. What?
It works.
What was that word?
Antimicrobial.
Antimicrobial properties. Okay, I hope everybody got that. It's got that in it. Yeah.
Yes, it works. And again, like we said, we've done experiments and we've tested it against the other big names out there.
It works.
And
I'm testifying it works. At least it works on me, so I know it works.
I've worn it in Caravana in the summer. I've worn it hiking. I've worn it. It's been life tested. I always like to say that. I've worn it in Morocco. It's very hot out there. So yes, it has been life tested. That is definitely my core product.
And that one took me the longest to formulate. So definitely a lot of love poured into that one. I think it took me about 2 years to get that one right.
To get the formula like
where we want it.
Right. So what else do you have in your arsenal there?
No, this is mine. Okay. Okay, so the next two that we'll talk about is the body scrub. Okay. Now, why I love body scrubs is because I have never been like a scrubby type of person. But now that I'm into it, it's like another level of self-care, especially if like for people who just like suffer with self-esteem, like rubbing on your body, warm touches really like warms you up, and it just like
calms stress.
Yeah,
it releases anxiety. It really just relaxes you, and honestly gives you just a full sense of like taking care of yourself. You know, when you're like, times when you're in the shower, you're just showering just to bathe. You know what I'm saying? Like you're with the end purpose of being clean, right? Yeah. Versus now, this product, it like when you're showering, it's like you're showering to take care of yourself, so it's a different experience.
I need some of that. I need put that in my next order, please. I need some of that. I mean, you know what? That would be really nice. When I think about it, especially couples right now that they're home, this would be really good for couples. And because it's natural, I noticed one of my friends the other day, she did a hand massage for her children. So this would be really nice as like, you're doing nice self-care with your kids, and you could, because when you go to the stores, like you go to, we won't say their names. You want to test, and then they want to test you with the scrubs, and then they put it over a bowl of water. I can see a nice self-care day. I'm feeling another Zoom. Being creative of self-care. Okay, event in a box. Anybody looking for products for event in a box? Okay, next product. Okay, I'm ready. I'm roaring.
Yes, so that's those two.
Well, okay, wait. One thing I will say about these two is that we remixed them in December, and why they're my favorite right now is because they're soap-based. Most body scrubs are oil-based, so they leave a really oily feeling, and you have to soap up first and then rinse them out. But these ones are a 2-in-1. So because it's made with soap, the base, you just have to rinse yourself.
You use this as your one bathing product. You know what I'm saying? Okay. You know like those body washes that have the little beads in it?
Yeah.
But like the bees don't really do anything but just be there. You don't know what they're for. Yeah. This is like that, but except it actually scrubs your skin so you come out really, really smooth. And it comes in Serenity, which is lavender, and
Like
Blue
that.
Mountain Coffee, which is again based a little
Did
homage
you,
to our
did you just say
heritage.
Blue Mountain Coffee?
Yes. That's
Okay,
why I had to stop and bring it
that's
back
that's
because
the that's the luxury there. Blue Mountain
yes,
Yes.
Coffee.
exactly.
Okay,
It's
okay,
posted.
all
So yeah,
right.
those that's why they're my favorites, and we made them so that like even for people who can't get to do their pedicures right now,
I was gonna say, oh yeah, pedicures is
it's
great.
amazing on your
Hand
feet.
massages is great.
That's what we did for your hand massage. We switched the formula a little bit, but like when we did the hand massage for you, it was a scrub that we used. So
It's
that's
great for
why
any type of ingrowns or grooming, any type of things like that. This product is.
I would need that for the pedicure because
yes.
I'm not going anywhere. I haven't had. Don't look at my fingers. I haven't had the manicure. I haven't had the pedicure, and I'm waiting. I'm being
Yep.
patient and I'm waiting.
Yep.
In the
Then you
meantime,
definitely
I
need to get
love,
these.
and I love taking care of my hands. So my hands are always very soft. So that's very important.
Ooh, especially now because of all those sanitizers, they're drying on people's skin and
And
stuff.
we're seeing this mini sanitizers there, brethren. Is that what's in your hand? Okay, what's that in your hand?
This one's face scrub. We're continuing with the scrub.
Face scrubs?
Yes.
Yay!
These are 3-in-1 face scrub. So it's a cleanser, a clay mask, and a scrub. So you can use it as a regular scrub, or you can leave it on your face and let the clay do its thing. They've got key ingredients like watermelon, and it's got hibiscus in one, and this one, citrus balance, has turmeric in it. So everybody who's
turmeric, lemon peel,
all that skin brightening and glowy, definitely get these.
The hibiscus
okay, so that's going in my package as well. Okay, good.
Yeah, if you want to relax, that's definitely what that one is for.
Hibiscus is very good for anti-aging or anything. Like people want.
I want the hibiscus. I'm over 50 now. I need the hibiscus.
Okay, it's so good. It's so good.
Yes.
Very, very good.
Even when we did so we had in July we had 12 products and we cut it down to 4, and those were one of the products. My sister and I were debating over what product was gonna make the cut, and but I wanted the body scrub, she wanted the face scrub, and so we're like, now we're keeping both. And it's been great. It's been great ever since. The next product is, these are our minis.
Yes, I love my hand sanitizers.
Yes.
I've hidden my hand sanitizers from certain people in my house. Just saying.
The sanitizers are one of my favorites, my newer favorites, because it's something that I had to really challenge myself to do in the middle of the pandemic. There was a call for skincare formulators to make sanitizers because there was a shortage. And so I was like, okay, well, why can't we? When I looked at what the ingredients were, and I looked up different complaints people had about actual sanitizers.
Right.
And so beyond the deodorant, this was the next product that really challenged me to the point that I was in tears trying to make it.
Oh my goodness.
Also because we had to get this one Health Canada approved. In Canada, you're not legally allowed to sell them without
sanitizer without a natural product number on it.
And that was a step for us because we had done the regular other ones.
Wow.
But this one was like a Health Canada approved, where you send in your formula, they review it, and then they send it back and say yes or no. And so that was huge. Just the stress of waiting for Canada to tell me whether this was good enough.
I am just so proud. Health Canada approved. I mean, I remember when you dropped it off for me, I was just so excited. Yeah.
So they are 70% alcohol. They are Health Canada approved. They come in 3 different beautiful scents. So as much as you do kind of get an alcohol smell, your hands are left with a beautiful scent afterwards. And they don't dry out your skin like how the other ones do. We make sure we put natural moisturizers in here, like aloe or like glycerin, so that it gives you a nice silky feeling on your hands versus that really dry. And I never knew, again, how nasty other sanitizers are, because, again, once we have our products, we just use them. So the other day, mine ran out, and I went into a store, and I used what they had there. I don't know what company it was. And when I tell you the thing was slimy, I was just
I almost punched her because she had to rub it on me.
Oh, no, yeah, I know. I've had some of the slimy ones, and they're quite disgusting. And I'm saying to everybody, like, if you are listening to this, and I'm loving the responses. The passion is awesome, You love your creative energy. No, it's creative. And I would not say that I love something if I haven't tried it. I'm not going to bring anybody on this show ever if I haven't tried something. Now, there's some products I haven't tried. So you know what's coming in my arsenal as soon as you guys are coming this way. I know what I want for my self-care. But I am so proud of you, especially to get the hand sanitizer approved. No, that's big. So People, if you're looking to support a Black business, a woman's business on top of that, and a woman who, and two women who have beaten the odds, and when you hear Cola's story, and if you didn't hear Cola's story earlier, and taking from her pain on the transitioning of her son and just propelling it and turning it into a purpose of something different and dealing with the mental health care system. I still want to talk to those doctors. I have a conversation after the show because you know what? You really guys can be really great mental health care advocates as well as wellness advocates in what you're doing. And so we have those products. People, if you have any comments or questions for the wonderful women, please let us know. And so on top of these products, so we covered all the products. People can go to the website. I'll put up the website. I've put up the website before. But you're not just staying that way. You also are doing a couple other things because now I see there's a Pure magazine and
Yes.
then wellness and self care days. And like if you look at the robes they have on, it's like they do their lies in their robe. I need to get one of those blue robes. Can I get a blue robe personalized?
Yes.
Sure, because I need that for my self care days. It's a whole wellness package, people. How can you order? You can go to their website. I'll let you tell them. How can you order?
You can go to our website at www.unforgivinglypure.com. You can order directly on there. We have pickup if you are in the Durham local area, or you could get it shipped to you. And we're also coming with a retail store in Toronto. Retail store, I should say, that's going to be offering curbside pickup shortly. So we're offering different avenues, more accessibility is the key. So.
Yes.
And not all of you can get what I get. I get drop off, so I'm sorry. So I'm just saying because I have loved these women since I met them and how she hustles and what they're doing. So now you can get the product, and now you have the magazine. Tell us about the magazine because the articles are just amazing. Tell us about the magazine and what it is and how people can learn more on why you're even doing this magazine. I'm talking fast to my own self. I need to slow down. I'm so excited.
So Pure Magazine is something we started almost a year ago, July of last year. We started it as a means of wanting to give back to the community and sharing, because we meet a lot of businesses and we have a lot of knowledge. And we wanted a creative way to put it together and have people experience what we experienced as well. So we created the Pure Magazine that has covers beauty, wellness, lifestyle, fashion, food, business, music and arts. Like it just covers a vast variety of things that we actually like our interests as well. So we put it all into this nice digital magazine that you can experience online. It's on our website right now. We're actually working on our fourth volume.
Yes.
Our fourth volume is dropping very shortly in April. So yeah, it's a digital magazine. You can actually flip through. You can read it on your phone, your tablet, your desktop. There's links in there. There's videos. There's poetry. There's a whole bunch of goodness in there. You can shop directly. You can click links that take you directly to other people's businesses. You can learn so much about other great businesses, women-owned, Black-owned businesses that we love to just big up and celebrate them as well. So yeah, we just kind of created this thing.
It was pretty much all of our creativity in one place.
In one spot.
A lot of people talk about doing blog posts and these other things, and we're like, that's cool, but we've always been more than that. I was a kid where in school, when the teacher said do a book report, I would make a whole book. Like I would make
She would make a book, burn the edges, like put it in like.
Can you come on my team, please? I need your help.
So for us, how can we push the creativity? And we didn't like a lot of the magazines that we saw. When you went to the website, it just looked like you just clicked on the article that you wanted. And so we wanted this to be a way that you could flip through it like a magazine was in your hand.
Yeah,
and I
love it. It's so easy to just go through. It's like
it pushes the boundaries creatively and digitally. And a lot of the stories, that whole lifestyle section is always me just pouring out experiences that I've had over the years. But then we also get to feature really, like my sisters are really dope brands.
Yes.
And so it's become for us like a community magazine where we get to celebrate so many other people beyond us.
Yeah.
And the reception has been amazing. It has been, if people understood the stress that we go through to get the magazine done. It's crazy because most times the magazine we put it together within a 2-week period.
Don't lie, it's like 1 week. Like,
I love
because there's so much other things going on. It'll be like we're gonna get to it. We'll start it slowly, but then when it comes to actually putting it like the full thing together, it'll be like, one solid week of just like
non-stop work,
just working
to put it out.
Yeah.
But the gratitude that we feel when people see themselves in the magazine, when other businesses see themselves featured, and how grateful they are. It's everything. Because like for us, we had an experience. We won't name the company, but we had an experience a few years ago with a magazine that approached us and they said, "Oh my gosh, you guys are so dope. We love your stuff. We want to talk about your story." And we're like, "Oh, okay." Then they're like, "Okay, that'll be it." And it was just like a really high price to be a part of it.
$2,000. It was $2,000 at the time, and we're a small business, so we're like,
no.
Oh.
And so for us, as we go through this journey ourselves, we're also pulling from experiences we had. We're like, when we feature these businesses, even when we do charge, it is not going to be nothing ridiculous. It has to be something that the community can be a part of. They can wrap their minds around, and we can really push this out to get people interested, so people are reading and learning about other people than just us.
I think we get to bring people on our journey with us, so that's all we're.
I love how you do that, Brenton. Brenton, good to see you here. Welcome to the show. Remain flexible and agile as life changes around you. You're going to achieve great things. You know, Brenton is a great entrepreneur as well too. So great person. And I haven't heard him in a long time. So I love that you're on the show tonight. So I'm just happy that everybody's tuned in. So you have the magazine, people are learning then, but then you do this wellness series on Instagram.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Yes, Self-Care Sundays.
Okay, welcome to Wellness Wednesdays, people. So Wellness Wednesdays with these two, Cola and Rochelle, because they're all about wellness, inside and out. So tell us about the series on Instagram that people can tune into.
Yeah, so every Sunday we drop Self-Care Sundays, and it's a way for us. I feel like it's almost like self-care for us. So it's a way to invite people into our little self-care world, our little bubble. So like you said, we go in with our nice blue robes because it really just makes us feel like really luxurious and relaxed. We have a drink. We get a drink, our favorite drink, whether it's tea or, some wine or water
or Royale,
whatever. But it's a way for us to have some great conversations. And then we just talk about things that we find is important in terms of how to do self-care or, different topics. Like right now we're in a series called Wellness and Technology, because I feel like now because of COVID and the quarantine, everything is shifted into technology. So we're on our phones a lot more, on our iPads and desktops, and we're staring at screens. So it's understanding, okay, how is this affecting me and my wellness, and how can I make it more beneficial in the end, right? So you're not just getting, burnt out, tired eyes or any type of symptoms. It's really understanding both sides, like how can it be a detriment and how can it be a benefit, and marrying the two and just understanding balance, I think.
Yeah, and I think as we grow, we always want to make sure that we are accessible to our community of baristas, which is what we call them. We want to make sure.
Wait. Is that your shirt?
Yes.
Clear? Put it in the order. Because I needed to be wearing that tonight. What's happening, people? What's happening? I have no branding on me. Okay, go ahead.
We're waiting to release it. We have a whole line of merch that we have, including robes, and we're just waiting to be able to drop them.
I need to the show.
Yeah, we want to communicate with people. We want them to ask questions live. We want them, if they come on, that we can have a conversation and that we're not so far removed. So yeah, we go live every Sunday evening to talk about we talk about wellness and self-care, wellness and friendships, wellness and love,
different aspects,
every single thing.
You guys are pushing the envelope. I love it. You're not just like staying in one thing, that you're just totally evolving. It's not even just pivoting, you're evolving. You're doing a full revolution in this wellness. Your story is so powerful, your story is so meaty. I am just so in awe. You guys are giving me life right now. You guys are really giving me life right now. How did you have to change, and how did the pandemic affect your business?
So as you said, we met at a live event. So a lot of how we were doing business was a lot of in-person interactions, going to different events, pop-ups, just doing hand massages. And that was like how we were kind of getting known in Toronto. Everyone loved our little hand massage stations we'd set up at different events. So that not being able to go to events was a big change for us.
Yes.
Although we did have a website and we wanted to do get online sales. We got a few online sales in the past. Our focus was again more in the in-person experience. So because everything shut down, we now had to pivot and figure out, okay, how do we do this online? How do we bring that same experience that you're feeling in person online to our customers? How do we reach them? How do we find them? How to, get them to buy online? And also, and then also in terms of production. I know I said you're going to do most of the talking, right?
I know. I'm just watching and relishing.
So do I.
This is cool, Cola. But let's go ahead, Rochelle.
In terms of production, it definitely slowed us down in terms of our suppliers. We had a lot of suppliers that were delayed in terms of either
Right.
shipping, because we import a lot of things from the States. So it was delayed shipping from them and managing all these the shipping delays, and then managing our customers so that their orders
Customer service became really, really important. Being transparent with our baristas. We always say that we're bold, natural, authentic. So authenticity played a real big role in how we were communicating. Hey, sorry, your order is delayed because of this. And sometimes maybe I overshare, but I'm like, I just need y'all to know it's real. Like, we're not out here taking your money. We're really here trying to do our best to get it. We make everything by hand. Sometimes we have to make it fresh and send it out the door like the next second. So it was a real understanding of our processes, where our weakest moments were, and where we could get stronger at. I think that's the biggest thing for me personally. I've been living a quarantine lifestyle because I just stay inside all day. I'm the home-based entrepreneur. I'm always here. So in that aspect, people are like, how are you handling being inside? I'm like,
it's the same.
You're good. I'm right there. You know what? I'm right there with you. I could be inside. Sometimes, I have to talk myself to go outside, even though I love outside. I will forget to go outside. So I'm right there with you. I feel it. And you know what? I love the fact of your transparency. And they say vulnerability is the new currency. And when we're vulnerable and we're open, I mean, that speaks to your integrity, because that's what it takes. And people have to trust your brand, right? They have to really trust your brand. What would you say to your younger self now that you've gone through some of this? Kola, what would you say to your younger self?
My head says run, but no. What I would say is my observations of myself and my perspective, my self-assurance, self-awareness. There you go. Self-awareness is really key. It really was the key that unlocked a lot of my discovery and understanding. And so even when other people didn't understand me, if I understood myself, then I was able to reassure myself to a certain degree. The other thing I would tell myself is to trust God. Trust God a whole lot more. Not just in the whim, like, thank you, Jesus, but like actually like build a relationship with him from way earlier, because that, like, a lot of the things that I've gone through now have been a lot more peaceful because I have that helper, versus when I was just trying to just do it on my own, as mad at the world and so many things was happening.
I totally understand. Rochelle, what would you say to your younger self?
There's a lot of things I say to my younger self, but I think the first one, or the main one for me, is to understand my purpose and to live and thrive in that, to go after my purpose. Because I feel like a lot growing up, you're told a lot of narratives, right? Of how things are supposed to go. So you go to school, you go to university, and you go to post-secondary and stuff like that. But I feel like now looking back, I'm like, I don't even really want to be, or I didn't really necessarily want to be a nurse. I need to understand what my purpose was before I even took that leap and got myself into a lot of school debt. But
you want to be a mechanic?
Yeah, I did actually. I wanted to be a mechanic at one point, but my mama told me that it wasn't a girl's job. So I know.
Yeah, you can
I don't have a vehicle, and this would definitely help me.
You can still do it, man. You can still do it. If you could go to dinner with anybody, who would that be? And they don't have to be here. I know, Coca-Cola, you're probably going to say your son. But who else would you go to dinner with?
She was not going to say her son. She was not going to say her.
No.
She was not. I would have, because I love him. I love me some Christian.
I love you guys.
Who was I going to say?
Not him. I know that by the look on your face. Don't say Jesus. Who you going to say?
Jesus.
Yeah, Jesus. Jaleesa says, "Boss woman all on the screen." Whoa!
Yay!
But Cola, you go to dinner with Jesus all the time. Try again.
Right? Like Jesus everywhere, girl.
I'm
Stop
gonna
it.
move from Cola. Cola, think about it. Rochelle, we coming to you. Who would you go to dinner with and why? Who would you want to go to dinner with and why?
Um,
Anybody.
I'm like anyone, right? That's basic.
Anyone. Here or not here. Anybody. I know. Makes you think.
That's a big one. That's a big. Who'd you pick? You pick one?
Yeah, okay. So my son doesn't count because that was always going to be an option.
Yes.
That would have been like a default option.
Yeah.
So beyond him, I go to dinner with Oprah
Why?
Yeah, why?
because I have a book and it's Oprah. Because I have a story to tell, and she has a really good way of telling stories. And I understand how my story can impact so many more people, and I understand the purpose that is greater than me. And so I would really love for her to interview me one day, for me to, just like how we're sitting here and doing this amazing interview.
Well, I'm your
To
Oprah
talk about,
today.
pardon me?
I'm your Oprah today.
Yes. So it's already happening. But yeah, so I just like I would love to just like talk about because like we have similarities in like
Yeah.
life and growing up and things that she's experienced and
Yeah.
things that I've experienced and how to navigate the world through like trauma lenses, but in a healing
Yeah.
way. So I think that's a cliche
So you mentioned
personality.
a book. Have you started writing the book?
I self-published the book in 2018.
So the book is already here. What's the name of the book? How
Like,
can I get the Rochelle, Cola, you didn't tell me anything about the book.
sorry.
What's the name of the
Wait,
book, Cola?
let your
Where can
sister
we
go
get
first. Let her say her
No,
first, and
what?
then I'll talk about the
you're
book.
still thinking. What's the name
Yeah,
of the
I'm
book?
still
Where can we get
thinking.
the book? Don't even try to deflect.
The book is called Cola, Casualty of Love's Apologies. And the book can be found on Amazon. It's my memoir and my son's memoir, essentially. I didn't realize until after I wrote it that it was his memoir, because I chronicled his whole life from beginning to end. And I chronicled my life from 14 right up until 28, and everything that I've been through, all my experiences, and there's a lot. Um,
Okay. So
and
I need
yeah.
to get the book, and we need to talk
Pardon?
about the book. We may need to do a part 2 of this interview just about the book, right, Rochelle?
Yes.
Yeah, right. Yeah, okay. So, because you want Oprah to interview you, I'll interview you until Oprah gets here. No,
Thank you,
no,
thank you.
no problem. So, Rochelle, who are you going to go to dinner with and why?
Look, I tried thinking of somebody, and the only person that came to my head was Michael B. Jordan, but he's taken. So
But that's it's not about him being taken. But why would you want to go to dinner? What would you glean from him if you went to dinner with him? Besides that, you like him.
no, I just feel like he just would be just a nice person.
Really dope, intelligent
Yeah,
black
like
man.
you know what I'm saying? Like I feel like you just be really dope and just have a really good. We just have a good
Head on
time.
the
Like you know what I'm
shoulder.
saying? Like we just
Yeah.
chill and like kick it, have good conversations and laugh. I think
I like
that's mostly
and
what.
and you hear the part laugh because I think that was one of the things the laugh, the vibrancy,
Yeah.
good conversation because you want good conversation. 20 years from now, right? And you're looking back on your life. What do you think will matter to you most?
What I think will matter to me most?
Yes.
My heart.
Ooh, why?
Um,
What about your heart?
my heart is beautiful. The way my heart is resilient, the way it allows myself to love and forgive and love again. It goes into the title of Casualty of Love's Apologies. Essentially, that means we are loved by people around us, and yet people hurt us all the time, and we continue
Mhm.
to love them in different capacities. So, my heart and my kindness, everything flows from the heart. Even the words that you speak, it all flows from your heart and what your heart intentions are. So I would want people to understand the person and the woman that I am, the woman that I was, the woman that I'm becoming, and the purpose the legacy that I'm leaving, and how my heart is tied into every single one of those threads, and that they won't just hear me, but they'll feel me.
Wow, I'm going to steal that answer from my darn self. Yep. I'm going to steal that answer. What about you, Rochelle? 20 years from now, looking back on your life, what do you think will matter to you most?
I was gonna say mine is legacy, and you said it in your answer. I was like, get out of my head. But no, I think mine is legacy in terms of seeing the purpose that I've been given out have been lived out, and then seeing how it's how I'm leaving my children and how they're gonna be and how their lives, how I'm affecting my children and their children and the legacy that I'm leaving. Understanding like things that I didn't know back then that I'm understanding now in terms of just like how you live your life and how you affect others. I feel like 20 years from now, I want to make sure that I'm switching the narrative or changing the narrative in terms of our family and breaking some of those generational curses and stuff like that and those cyclic behaviors and leaving a better legacy. Yeah.
So the two of you are doing this. You came together even closer because of your beautiful son. And so, what it's been like as siblings working together. What advice do you have for other siblings or family members who have to work together to stay without, taking tearing each other apart?
You need understanding. I feel like you need a lot of understanding and patience. Definitely those two.
Yeah.
Because it's just understanding things from the other person's perspective. Oh, and grace. There needs to be a lot of grace. Those three things I feel like are like key, because the patience will help you to actually process certain things. Like when they do certain things, you're just like, why would you even do that? Like instead of reacting, you'll actually have patience and try to understand their point of view. And then grace when they like necessarily mess up or don't do certain things or whatever, you can have the grace and be like, you know what, everyone's not going to do things the same. There are multiple ways to do things, and that's just the way it is. But at least like we're all working for the same goal, and
remembering the goal, staying focused. Yes.
Yeah, staying focused on the goal. And what's the last thing I said? See, you don't even remember. You don't even remember. You weren't even listening.
Sorry.
That's what I love. That's what I love about the two of you. I love how the two of you banter, and I see it all the time when you do your lives. But then there's just this love and camaraderie that keeps you together. What is that, Cola? What is that thing that keeps you two together, no matter what, no matter the disputes, or the difference of opinion? What keeps the two of you just gelling and wanting to do this?
I would say it's growth, 100%. Because what was crazy, a couple years ago, like 6-7 years ago, we weren't even jiving like this. Mm-hmm. Like people say this now, I'm like, oh my gosh, and I'm like, nah, like we really used to not talk to each other like that. And it took a lot of prayer, but it really took an understanding. So one thing I would say is that's really important is learning each other's love language. And we do a series on this in our Self-Care Sunday, because when you understand how somebody loves, like my sister, one of her things is like receiving, I would say, food, gifts of service. So like accessories, there you go. So I like to cook her food, and then that's one way that she receives it. And so when you understand somebody's love language, then you can respond in the way that they understand and that they receive. If I continue to just give her, she's not a touchy-feely person. I do her hand fives, I do high fives, and I randomly hug her, and she's like, ugh. But like if I just do that all the time and like I'm trying to love you, she just wouldn't understand.
She won't receive it. Yeah.
Exactly. So figuring out the person's love language definitely is important when going through this. What was the question again?
What keeps us gelling?
Yeah, what keeps us gelling? Prayer. That's the other thing that keeps us gelling. Prayer and like finding things that we have in common. So we really like watching movies. And so when we're trying to de-stress, we do a lot of that. We watch movies, we watch shows.
I was going to say what keeps us gelling is self-care together. High five, sis. There you go.
Okay. You guys are just phenomenal. So as we're winding down, I'm going to ask you a couple more questions. And I'll say, Rochelle, if someone like yourself, the way that you've had to support your sister through transitioning of her son, what would you say to a sibling or parent who had to support? What advice would you give to anyone out there that had to provide that type of support that you had to give? And then, Cole, I have a different question for you.
What I would say to them is that you, as much as you want to support that person, you also have to take care of yourself, because you can't pour from an empty pot.
Yeah. Yes.
Empty cup. So as much as you want to be there for them, you can support them, but also make sure that you're doing things on the back end to keep refilling your cup, and that you're having something to pour into you, or you're finding help for yourself, or you're just dealing with your and going through your process
Mhm.
before you can then really truly be there for them. Because again, I feel like I delayed my process,
Yeah.
and kind of ignored it altogether, and almost felt guilty for feeling a type of way, because it was like, how could I feel that way when she's going through so much? It was like that kind of narrative, but not understanding that we both had to go through our own journeys.
Mhm.
So yeah, definitely take care of yourself first, and then you can then be a better support to that person.
And so, Kola, and that was really good because many people don't know how to support others through grief. And so, Kola, what advice would you give to a mom like yourself, who's a young mom, any mom actually, who's had to deal with the transitioning of their loved one? What advice would you give them for their own self care and the process of grief?
Don't ignore it.
Hmm.
Feel it, feel every single part of it. Our body has a natural reaction to want to protect ourselves from pain and from trauma, and so it closes ourselves off. It like compartmentalizes certain things, but feeling the pain, allowing the tears to come, is a lot more safe and is a lot more nourishing for our soul and for our spirits, than hiding it. Because eventually, what happens is, what people don't know is trauma can show up in the body in different ways, and so we can actually make ourselves sick by holding on to the trauma, holding on to the pain, and not releasing it. Screaming, crying, those are all okay. Even when people say don't cry, don't scream, or calm down,
Yeah.
like, feel your emotions however you feel fit to do it. Live that and stand in that. I would say support yourself with family and friends, but the truth is not everybody understands it. And for me, a
Yes.
lot of my family and friends disappeared, not in like a bad way. They just didn't know how to be around, and so don't take it personally when people don't know how to be around. And my last few tips is to find something that brings you joy. So for me, it was prayer, it was music, and it was writing. And those are the three tools that really kept me pushing. Because writing is a form of getting it outside. Music is a form of like moving the pain around. So there's tools that, whether it's knitting or something, but find tools that bring you even just a glimmer of
Mhm.
happiness or joy that you can focus on, and allow that to kind of like help you through the situation.
I love that advice. Is there anything that you wish people didn't do?
Yes.
What would be something that you wish that somebody didn't do? And anybody who's listening, don't take offense. We're just keeping it real. We're gonna have real conversation. This is what not to do.
There's a lot of people who would say just trust God, which I
Mm,
already knew, I already understood, but it came off more condescending than it did
yeah.
helpful. There are people who would say like, "Was that your only kid? Oh man, you can have more," or "Are you gonna have more?" People are false.
No.
But the biggest thing was people just not letting me do what I needed to do.
Mm,
People saying, "Okay, so are you gonna get a job? Are you gonna do this? Are you gonna do that?" And they wanted to know, but it was selfish because they only wanted to know for themselves. They didn't want to know because that's what I needed. They wanted to know just for themselves. So those are the things of not to do. And I think the very last one I will say is don't disappear. Like I understand you
yeah.
gotta take care of yourself first. And if that's true, to say, listen, I need to take care of myself before I can pour into you. But I
Yes.
have friends who were just like, I don't know how to deal with this. So when
They
you
just
need me, come
disappeared.
find me. And for me, I'm like, well, then I'm gonna not need you. I'm gonna just find my own strength and keep in that. And that enclosed me off to make me feel like I'm isolated and I only got myself to depend on, because my friends just didn't know how to do it. So if you don't know how to be there for someone, at least verbalize it. Or better yet, I was cool with people who didn't know and just sat there or just came around me and we said
Yeah.
nothing. That was more comforting than being ghosted by friends after my
Yeah.
son.
Yeah. Yeah. And what would you want to say to any woman out there right now that wants to start a business and or is just here in the pandemic? What last words would you want to say, even though I have one more question for you? What
The
advice would you want to give to any young woman like yourself who, you guys have you've taken the trauma, you've taken the pain of loss, and some wouldn't call it loss. Some people don't call it loss. Some people just call it just a different season of life, and you've had to move through it, through the pain. And but women are going through so much right now in this pandemic and with COVID. And as what would you say? What advice would you? As you know, we started this show when we said, what I would choose to challenge within yourself. What do you choose to challenge women to do right now for themselves?
Ooh, I would challenge women to take the time to to know what they want, to learn about what they really want, and to go after that. I feel like that's what I would challenge women to do. Because a lot of time, like I said, we're so much stuck in the different narratives that people impose upon us. Like,
Mhm.
oh, you need to be married, or you need to have kids, or you need to do this. You need to go have a career. You need to do all these things. But it's like, but what do I want to do? Like, what is it that my purpose is, and
Yeah.
what do I want to do? So I feel like in this time, again, even though a lot of people may have found there's a lot of loss in terms of jobs or financial instability and stuff like that, but I feel like it's a time period where people can either find rest, and they can actually take the time to figure out, hey, what is it that I want to do? Is there something that I wanted to do before that I just didn't have the time, or I was just so busy doing other things that I can resurrect? Or what is a new hobby that I like doing? Like, do I like being creative, doing what? Like, what do I like to do? Figure out yourself. Like, take the time to reflect on yourself, and also prioritize self-care and wellness.
I would challenge women to live freely, to live boldly, to live authentically. My whole life I've been kind of like the misfit, the different one, the weird one. I always have colored hair, colored lips, everything. So I would really challenge women to live. It piggybacks a lot of what my sister said. Understanding your purpose, understanding how to take care of yourself, understanding that you are worthy and you are worth the time. A lot of people don't use body scrub, for example, because they said, I don't have the time. But like,
babe, you have the time. Yeah.
Take the time for yourself. It doesn't, and that's why we created the way we did. But like, literally, take the time for yourself, because if you don't take the time for yourself, if you don't take the time to live, who else will? Like, who else is going to do that for you? Yeah. So living is really important. And this comes from a place of like, when I was suicidal, when I didn't understand everything. And now I appreciate breath. I appreciate that I'm here to live. I appreciate that I didn't go through with anything. So take the time to live and love it to its fullest.
I love it. And you guys are so full of wisdom. For everybody live and on the replay, I hope you had your pen and papers ready. Otherwise, you're going to have to rewind, because they were dropping diamonds. They have been dropping diamonds all night. And my final question for you tonight is, what does victory look like to you?
Ooh, it's a really good question. Go ahead, sis.
No, go ahead. I'm singing in my head.
Victory is mine. Victory is mine. Victory today is mine.
I can't sing, so I'm just going to clap. Okay. So what does victory look like? Listen, we're going to be, welcome to the Victory Speak Show. If you didn't know who we're talking, I'm talking Nicola and Rochelle Bennett of Unforgivingly Pure, and we are winding down the night with the last question of the night. Technically, who knows? It might end up somewhere else. What does victory look like to you? Because this is a show like no other. This is our network.
Yep.
Our time. And I always say, if people can take 2 hours to watch a movie, this is better than a movie. This is life, baby. This is life. So this is Victory Speaks. And I want to know, Cola and Michelle, what is victory to you?
I feel like victory to me is just, I feel like it's everything that we just talked about. Is living really boldly, living very freely, living the way that you want authentically, and feeling just like freedom, like just true freedom in that, being yourself, and just finding joy in the little things, and being grateful, and just just loving, dancing, laughing, all the things that you want to do, like taking care of yourself, all of that. I feel like to me it would be like be seen as a victory. Like when I am like just living very boldly and freely and happy, and all of those things, even with the downtime, like I feel like I take the ups with the downs. It's not all about the positive, but also, understand like we've gone through the gullies, and we've gone through the roughs, and we've come back out on top, and all of that is a victory to me. So I feel like just feeling life, and just going through life, and just enjoying every minute of it is a victory to me. Yeah.
Yes.
Nailed
it. Now, Cola, come with it now. Come with it.
Victory to me is unconditional love. Victory is
why you always have to come and just smash up my.
I'm a
She's
poet.
adding to it. She's adding to it.
He doesn't.
But I'm
Adding, she's
literally a
adding.
poet. This is what I
Put
do.
some strawberries on your ice on your cake. It's okay. It's
All
okay.
right, I'm just strawberries, no girl.
Okay.
No, victory is love unconditionally.
Yes.
Victory is being like a lot of what she said. The freedom. Victory is allowing yourself to enjoy the process. Not being mad at the process. Understanding the process is what makes us. That we don't have to regret things that happen to us, even how horrible it is, because we understand our character. We understand how we're able to handle challenges better today than we were yesterday because of everything that we've been through. And loving ourselves unconditionally, loving our neighbors unconditionally, being kind to other people, and just like loving freely. So victory for me is loving unconditionally.
So, you opened a can of worms when you said loving unconditionally. What does unconditional love really look like? What is unconditional love?
We talk about it all the time.
I was gonna say we talk about this lots of times. Like
unconditional love is that love without judgment, is that love without criticism. And there's a difference between criticism and actually just like caring for somebody and pointing out things in a
Yes.
loving way. A lot of people say, oh, well, this, and they say it so harshly. They're like, yeah, but it's the truth. Okay, but like love is gentle, you know.
Kind.
But exactly.
Yes.
There's no pettiness. Love is not pettiness. Love is not unconditional love is not pettiness. It's not a tit for tat. A lot of people don't believe unconditional love is possible because they just haven't experienced it before. But unconditional love is freeing when you know there's nothing that you can do to make the other person leave you, mad at you, all these other things. And just being able to, even if you don't receive it, being able to give that and understand that you were a person of unconditional love and value. That's really important.
Yeah.
And
it has no conditions. There's no strings attached to it. It's not, oh, I'm going to love that person because of what they did for me. It's not, oh, I'm going to love them more because of what they bought me or because of the different things. There's no conditions, no strings attached. It's just pure and genuine love for other people.
It's like a lot of the love that we have for those who have children. A lot of people unconditionally love their children. There's nothing that child could do that can make you stop loving them. I wrote a poem about just a love beyond the grave and how I will always love my son. And for me, that is love unconditionally. And we need to do more of that for other people instead of just like being hurt by what didn't happen or hanging on to the roots of bitterness and these other things and letting those take root. We need to uproot that and in place put on the unconditional love.
I think I'm going to have a show on unconditional love. I think we need a panel to talk about unconditional love. I want to make sure you guys are available because I need you in that conversation. You need to be in that conversation. Any last things that you want to say to anyone out there listening? You just speak from your heart. Whatever message you want to get, you can use any topic you want. It could be about the product. It could be about your son. It could be about grief. It could be about joy. It could be about, I don't know, kicking a football. It could be about being a mechanic and purpose. But what last words would you want to say out there to those listening today?
I just wanted to thank everyone for their time taken out to listen to everything that we have to say. And I feel like I just want everyone to, going forward in 2021, again, prioritize yourself and prioritize wellness and well-being. It's so important. Mental health and balancing, your health and well-being is very, very important. And it can prevent a lot of things. We talk a lot about stress reduction and how stress, I know we're going through tough times and it's very easy for us to take on the stress of the society. When you watch the news and you just see everything that's happening in the world and you can really like internalize it and take it on, but not understanding that stress can actually manifest into other things, into illnesses and other things and weaken the immune system and all those good things. So it's very, very important to, again, just take care of yourself first, prioritize wellness. And really, really check in with yourself, every so often in terms of your mental health and how you're doing, and then to seek help if you need to, in whichever way is you see fit.
Yeah. I want to thank everybody. I would love for people to become a part of our Purista community and follow us on our journey to being multimillionaires. That we are building something amazing. Our goal is to disrupt the beauty industry and to really showcase minorities, people of color in these spaces where we typically don't feel comfortable. We're in the process of building a wellness space, an in-person space where you can do the hand massages, you can get wellness consultations. We're in the process of it'll be launched in April, I think the second week of April, so in Toronto, and we'll put more information if you follow our Instagram. but it's going to be an opportunity for us to do the hand massage and really connect with people again in person. In May, we'll be in Scarborough Town Center, but that's a different thing. But we really want people to follow this journey and be a part of every single thing, because when people see overnight successes, they're like, wow, how did they get there? But we want people to be on the journey with us,
Yes.
elevate with us every single step of the way, so you understand what it's like to live a life of purpose, what it's like to live a life with self-care routines. Because the thing that we don't want to happen is that you follow us, you get all these tips, it's cool, life is good. But when life happens, when stress happens, you don't even know how to take care of yourself. You don't
Yes.
even know
Yes.
where to go or what to do. At the beginning of February, my sister was in a car accident, and God spared her life, and it was just, the car is a wreck, and that's why we don't have a car right now. But one of the first things she did after she got out and was safe and everything, and she took one of our wellness rollers and she applied it to help her de-stress. Now, that's only a tool that she could have gotten by implementing the things that we talk about of normalizing self-care, making sure the products are with you, making sure that you're walking with it, making sure you understand how you feel and what you can do to decrease your stress. So for us, it's really important that we build the routines ourselves and that we are taking part of it, but that other people do it as well. Because the first thing to go when trauma hits is self-care. And for me, that was detrimental. And we really want to change the narrative for other people when it comes to that regards.
I love this. See, now we feel like we really like a part three. So normalizing, what does normalizing self-care look like? The mental health piece of it, advocating for yourself, going through the journey. Oh yeah, you guys gonna be back maybe a couple more times. We're gonna have some little panels and some compartmentalizing stuff. Rochelle and Cola, I am so grateful and I am so thankful for you spending time with me today, spending time with my listeners today. We have to live a life of victory, and you speak your victory. And I always tell the people, let your victory speak, and you're definitely letting your victory speak every day. And I'm wishing you much health and wellness, and Rochelle, full recovery from that accident. That there will be nothing left behind for you to experience. For anybody live on the replay, be sure to follow them. We've put up the website several times, Unforgivingly Pure, and it's PUR. Go to the magazine, buy their products. They're really doing a great thing. And if you're looking for something natural for yourself or for your children, this is the way to go. I bring this show to you every week because it's a joy, it's a love. And adding this new series, I just knew I had to do it from my heart because wellness is so important. And as a caregiver myself, I know I have to take care of my own health and wellness. And, for those of you live and on the replay, my name is Nicole, and you've been watching the Victory Speaks So, the wellness series that we're starting. You can follow me on Instagram and on Twitter, Victory Speaks 7 and Victory Speaks with an S. Be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. All the shows that we've done, interviews that we've done with many amazing folks since 2020 is up on YouTube. The Facebook page is Victory Speaks 77, depending on where you're watching. And now we have the Victory Speaks podcast on Spotify, Apple, and anywhere that you can get a podcast. And we talk about living a victorious lifestyle and finding the victory formula in your life. Now, I'm also doing conversations on Clubhouse. So be sure to check out Clubhouse and follow me, Victory Speaks. Tomorrow night, I am with the Black Canadian content creators. And guess what? I'm in the hot seat tomorrow. My fam, they're going to be interviewing me, so the roles are being reversed. Shirley Joseph is going to be interviewing me with Tristan Barracks and Carlina, and we're going to be kicking it live. Come and join the club. If you're in Clubhouse, come and join our club. Find out how you can be supported as a Black content creator, and also go on to Facebook. We always put stuff on there. And next week, Tuesday, also going to be having a conversation on Clubhouse with Coach Danny Stone, as you find your greatness. And on Saturday, if you're watching live right now and on the replay, and it's still in the week of March, on the 27th, be sure to check out the Women of Impact Conference, Leadership Conference happening. So lots going on in the world, lots of stories to tell, lots of ways that we can take care of ourselves in our minds, bodies, souls, and spirit. We have to mind our minds as we process this life. We have to take care of ourselves. And I always tell you, love is in the details. Every day, seek to have an inspired conversation with someone you love or with someone you meet along the way, or just a smile. Even if you go outside of the store, do an act of kindness. Go outside, you go into your Dollarama store. When you come out, if you see a homeless person, buy something that you can give to them. If you don't want to give people money, be creative in your giving. Get some water, get some snacks, and always have it ready to give. Buy some Tim Hortons cards. Do that act of kindness. A $5 Tim Hortons card can go a long way. You can get a coffee, you can get a tea, it can get a biscuit, you can get a sandwich. If you can do 10, even better. McDonald's, whatever it is. Find a way to show love. Find a way to show kindness. And as my beautiful guest, Rochelle and Cola tonight, spoke of unconditional love as we ended the show. How can you be unconditional in your love? How can you be kind and gentle and patient and loving and just love people no matter what they come to you with? Can you give them grace? Can you give them peace? Can you treat others the way you want to be treated? My name is Nicole Waldron. I encourage you to live a life of victory, one day, one moment at a time. You don't have to cross the finish line first. But you do need to cross the finish line as your best self. And what your best self looks like today is going to be different than what your best self would look like tomorrow. It's all good. Give yourself grace. Be self compassionate. Thank you. Peace. And see you next week, Monday, where my guest will be Rosemary Sadler. And we're starting the series Trailblazers in Now. In the now. We are going to give people their flowers now. We're not going to wait till their transition. We're going to be giving the icons in our society what they need right now. And, as we end the show, I'm just going to give you a few little congratulations coming out. Amazing conversation woman. Great
Thank
show
you.
from Michelle Hodge. Amazing and aspiring woman. So I do Lisa is on here. Brenton's on here. Sarah, we have some regulars. Ronald Felix is on here. Wendy Jones. Thank you everyone for tuning in live and on the replay. We appreciate you. Be sure to check out Unforgivingly Pure and stay pure in your hearts. We love you. Be blessed.